So believe it or not, there is a litmus test to determine if someone is a true collector or not. And in this video, I'm going to run down 10 books that you absolutely have to have in your collection to be considered a real comic collector. Stay tuned. Reggie here, and I want to welcome you to another one of my videos. All jokes aside, I am going to run down a couple of books that I think are core to a comic book collector's collection. And we're going to look at 10 different books from different genres, publishers, etc. And in my mind, you should have at least 5 or 6 of these books in your collection to be considered a real collector. I'm just joking. If you have a collection, you are a real collector, but we want to have a little bit of fun and hopefully folks get that. So the first book that I will show you, I think is a core book. It is a core DC book, partially because I think it is one of the story arcs that DC publishes again and again and again because it's really good. Hush. This is Batman issue number 609, the first appearance of Thomas Elliot, aka Hush. If you have not read this story arc, treat yourself. You can pick it up in a variety of formats. I think there's reprints, there's collected works, there's of course individual issues. I think it starts with issue 609 and runs for a little while. Great story arc, one of my favorite Batman stories out there. So speaking of favorites, this next one is not one of my favorites, but I think it's core. I think it's core for people to have at least some representation in their collection of just regular old cartoon type of stuff, right? And I think this was a gift from somebody. It might have been Chuck. Chuck may have given this to me, but this is Mickey Mouse from Dale Comics. And so this qualifies because Mickey Mouse is just, he's a cool character. Not necessarily my jam, but Dale, Gold Key, Mickey Mouse, any cartoon related stuff, I think qualifies. That qualifies, and this is what this one actually represents. Next, we have a book that symbolizes a dope cover. That's why I have this one in here. Specifically, a dope cover for Superman. That is the criteria. Dope cover featuring Superman. And for me, it is this one right here. It is Batman issue 612. For some reason, this cover is striking to me. And I have maybe 10 copies of this book just because I think that the cover is amazing, right? That is an amazing cover to me. So that's the criteria for that. Dope Superman cover. This next one is also not a favorite of mine, but it is the butt of many jokes. Therefore, you have to have it in your collection so that you can actually participate in the community. Turok number 1. We've seen all types of jokes and memes featuring this book. It is core. It is core to having a comic book collection. Bonus points if you get this Valiant book graded. If you have a graded copy of this at a 9.8 especially, bonus points for you. Turok number 1 is a core book. Butt of jokes. Butt of jokes will continue with this next one. Darkhawk number 1, a book that needs no introduction. This is the 90s right here. This is the 90s right here. I read this a couple of years ago, and it was ungood. It was ungood, but you gotta have it. You have to have Darkhawk number 1 in the collection. Bonus points if you get it at a 9.8. Bonus points if you have multiple copies of it, which I do. All right, next up, this is a cool book. This is a cool book, honestly. This one is similar to the last one in that it is very much the 90s, at least for me. Spider-Man number 1. Featuring Todd McFarlane's fantastic artwork, right? This is it. This is it right here. I remember when this book dropped, the nostalgia associated with this book was unparalleled. And the great thing here is that you have a ton of different options. There's a ton of different covers of this, ton of different like variants that you can get. You have some latitude to figure out which one of these that you want to get, but you have to have one. You have to have at least one Spider-Man book in your collection. The question right now is how well are you doing? How well are you doing? We've gone through 5 books. Do you have all 5 thus far? That is the question that I ask you. We're going to go to this next book, which again, sticking with the theme of Todd McFarlane. Some of you have already guessed what the book was. Spawn #1. This was a gift. This was one of the few Image #1s that I did not have, and this was a gift from Tina. Spawn issue #1, a core book. Core book right here. You get triple bonus points if you have the newsstand version of it. Triple bonus points. Make sure that you are keeping score and sounding off in the comment section how many points you have. I guess we're on a theme right now. I guess we're on a theme of Todd McFarlane. There you go. ASM 300 core book. No matter how you slice it, this book right here is a core book. I've gone on record saying I believe that this is the most homaged book out there. I don't know whether that's true or not. It sounds good, so I'm going to stick with it. ASM 300, first full appearance of Venom. The full actually does matter. First full appearance. It matters. All right, this next book is from, I think, another legendary artist that goes back to the 90s for me. This one, X-Men #1. X-Men #1, you have to have it. It is the best-selling comic book of all times, with, I think, more than 8 million copies of this comic sold. You have some latitude here. There are several different covers. There's all 4 connecting covers, and then there's like 1E, which is a gate folds out. Get one, it qualifies, doesn't matter which one you get. I personally opted for the newsstands. I have all of the connecting covers in newsstands at a 9.8. So bonus points for me with this book. Again, sound off in the comment section. Let me know how you guys are doing with the books that we've gone through thus far. All right, so I'm going to give you one last book. One last book that, again, we are testing whether you are a true collector or not. Death in the Family. Death, that's right? Yeah, Death in the Family. Batman issue number 428. This book is a controversial book. It is a must-have. It doesn't matter which of the ones you get, because I think this is told over, 4 parts. Over 4 parts. Doesn't matter which one you get. Get one. It still qualifies. Very much a controversial book. This book actually came in the same collection as the X-Men #1s. I bought a collection years ago of all newsstand books. And this was one of the books that was in there. Really, really cool book. Mike Mignola cover. Great story in this one. The last one, not so much, but the first couple, I think, are pretty darn solid. You got to have that book, all right? So let's say you have most of these, and maybe you're missing one. Maybe you're below the threshold of being a true collector, right? You might be, 4 or something like that, maybe 5, right? So to get you over the hump, I want to give you another bonus book in order to qualify as a true collector. It is this book right here, ASM 110. If you have this book in your collection, it counts for 2. It counts for 2 books. This is the newest Marvel superstar, the first appearance of Martin Blank, aka the Gibbon, Amazing Spider-Man 110. If you have this is a twofer. This is a twofer book. So anyway, sound off in the comment section. Let me know if there is some books that I missed, right? There's books out there that you think are core to someone's collection that I did not represent here. Sound off in the comment section. I can tell you that I had to make some hard decisions. There were some hard decisions that were made here today, and there's books scattered about here in the room that did not make the cut that you might actually identify. So sound off in the comment section, and fingers crossed you recognize that we are just having a little bit of fun. I sometimes get worried because I don't think people get my humor, but fingers crossed you do. With that said, we're going to wrap this video up. I want to thank you all for taking the time to watch. If you enjoyed it, give the video a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, go ahead and do that. And if you want to reach out to me, you can do it on Instagram at Regie Collects. Take care.
This thing on? Mic check. I just want to make sure y'all can hear me clearly. Yo, should you practice art? or should art be your practice? I had a question, so I asked it. Not to anyone specifically, but to my inner God, you know? The one that's gonna be a master, the one that's more than a rapper, the one that's an educator, the one that seeks enlightenment. He travels with concepts, he's got the mindset expansive. He understands that his time combined with travel and concepts makes his mind convex. Sort of like when you look at a brain scan, straight off meditation, we was concaving until we had that eternal dialogue that created our dialect. Now we in distinct rooms with pure souls having them conversations, synergy and combination.